Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Rose and Depths, back with another Kamihime project video. Now, before I even get into this, a few things I gotta point out. One reason why you're seeing so many Genshin Impact videos recently is because it has indeed become my main game as well, because I really do enjoy playing that game. So, I will say that that means that I'm playing Kamihime Project less now, but I still haven't stopped playing it. I will mention that there has been a huge amount of people that surged over to Genshin Impact from other games and whatnot. I'm no exception. And quite frankly, when the hype dies down, it'll probably be like a lot of them that may not even stick with it anyways. But I plan on sticking with Genshin. It's going to be the main game I actually play, so I'm not going to do any guides on that. There's tons of people doing guides on Genshin. Don't don't expect me to do any. You can find others doing guides about it. But the way the game's designed, you can use anybody, even the characters they give you at the start. So, but also about Kamihime Project, I'm not the only one that's felt this way, but it does seem like the game might possibly be dying down pretty soon because there's been a noticeable amount of gacha deals that's been thrown at us left and right now, and players are starting to get more and more irritated at the devs about screwing things up. If you seen my post about the guild competition, there was a bug with that where you was able to actually use elements for any fight and not get hit with the penalty. It's not supposed to be like that, and personally, I think that's cheating, considering that it's a bug or exploit that shouldn't be there. So I don't know if they'll ever punish anybody about that, like the access request thing, but the fact that they screwed up yet again has my faith in them dropping even more. So at this rate, if the devs do a major screw up at some point, then I'm probably just not going to bother with the game anymore. I'm just saying that in advance. But as long as I am still playing it, I am definitely still doing content on there. If people want me to, I probably still could do guides on it, but I won't fully be into certain things. But my guides have been pretty much a case of like, okay, here's this, you can go after it if you feel like you need it. So it's not really anything that's meta defining, it's more just helping you build a little bit further. But if people want me to still make guides on it even after I eventually stop playing Kamihime Project, then yeah, because even if the devs don't screw up, there's probably a good chance I might drop it anyway because I'm getting into other stuff a lot more, which even includes Magikami. But anyways, getting into the actual thing with this, they've announced this event in game, so I'm doing a video about it. It is a crossover with Deep Web Underground. She is a virtual YouTuber, and honestly, I don't know too much about her. Like, I really didn't even know too much about Kizuna Aya, to be quite honest, and now they got Hololive, which I'm kind of getting into, but not much. But this one happens to be a virtual YouTuber that did a lot of 18 plus content, so go figure. And it is indeed confirmed that she does have 18 plus scenes. So if you happen to pull her, that's something you might or might not look forward to. There's some people that don't play this for those scenes. But she is she isn't a free character, so you do have to try and pull her, but we get tickets to get extra chances at her. So that's what that's what I'll be going over later on. But know that right out the gate, if you miss out on her, she's not coming back. So if you're going to want a limited character, now's the time to do so. Also, this event is, of course, like all the other crossover events, pretty much Advent battles, and there is no Ragnarok difficulty. The fights are also easier than normal. If you want a very good comparison, do weekly Advent, which we have now, and compare those difficulty settings to the ones for this event. You'll definitely see the difference. But also, you have to keep in mind that since it is a collaboration event, it's also longer than normal, so we actually should get like roughly a month on this. So you could pace it out with other stuff as long as you want to. Like, basically just focus on some of the stuff from this event alongside other events that may pop up. That's what I gotta say about that one. But anyways, the stuff that you get from trading the materials, there is no normal gacha tickets in this. None. You get Kamihime gacha tickets, you get raid gacha tickets, or the raid Kamihime gacha tickets. You get special premium tickets that up the chances of getting Deep Web Underground, but you don't get the regular gacha tickets in this. So that's something to know. But there are SSR weapons, there are SR weapons, there's the magic jewels, there's dragonic eye shards, there's all the usual stuff. How some of it is done is a little bit different though. Because for starters, being that this is a crossover event, there's no weapons, even if you pull the crossover character, not a single weapon is going to final break. So I have to say that in advance. Also, you can get, as far as I know, 4 copies of her rate up ticket along with 2 extra ones from missions. So that's what you can trade for. But everything else is just standard stuff, more or less. So it's more of a case of get it if you need it. And quite frankly, the weapons aren't bad, the SSR weapons. It's just the fact that they don't final break. So that's a little upsetting. But there's no Ragnarok difficulty, and Ultimate's probably going to feel like Expert. So that's something I have to point out. But and I don't go through the stuff for standard or beginner because those are really, really easy, and they tend to have the same strategies as this stuff as well. But the mechanics with the boss, Expert, she has 500,000 HP. Ultimate, she has 1,000,000 HP. But in both fights, her normal burst, or as some people call it, the overdrive, deals damage to everybody, and it's going to put 3 special buffs on herself. Get used to this because that's the main mechanic with this fight. Raging is going to do the same thing, only it's going to reduce everybody's burst gauges by 20. So that's the one you would have to be a little bit more careful about. The main gimmick of the fight is easily those special buffs, because at the start of the fight she'll do that, and then she'll generally consume 1 per turn until she has none. But each time it's basically doing normal attacks, and they will combo. So by the looks of things, going by this data, she will deal 3 triple attacks the first turn, 2 triple attacks the second turn, and 1 triple attack the third turn, which means she will do a lot of single target damage. And then when she has none of those special buffs left, and she's not at max orb count, she will just waste a turn. Literally. So, timing it properly, she can just waste turns, and you can just either recover or start building up offenses or defenses or whatever you want to do, and then just focus on taking her down that way if you want. But the main gimmick of the fight is that she will have those special buffs up and then start using them to pretty much just triple attack the crap out of you. So other than that, it's not too complicated, but you have to keep in mind that it will indeed start racking up quite a bit of damage against one character if she just likes targeting that same character. And she has 4 orbs before she fills up too, so honestly, getting some orb removal or orb extension will even abuse the whole thing with her just wasting turns even further. So that's a strategy. But anyways, getting into the weapons. There is a dark spear, a dark axe, And SR weapons are Dark Sword and Dark Hammer. Now, I will say this out the gate. If you're looking for the most optimal stuff, not a single one of these is it. However, Darkness has had access to all 4 of these Phantom weapon grids. And even had one for Deep Web Underground's weapon as well, which we'll go over a little bit later. That said, you can indeed get some placeholder weapons for Phantom grids. However, not all of them are the best grids to go after. Easily the best ones to go after is probably the Hammer or the Spear one. But Axe isn't too bad either, considering old Union events. So it depends on how long you've been playing. Otherwise, just don't worry about any of these Phantom grids and just go after the gun from Aratron. But I will point out that Aratron also drops swords as well. It is not the best grid to go for that as well, but if you do feel like you have some sort of luck or faith with Stinger, then maybe. But again, none of these are the best ones to use, but they are usable if you want to. So I have to clearly point that out. But the weapons themselves, one assault weapon for SR, which is a sword, one defender weapon for SR, which is a hammer. The spear SSR is large assault, small defender. The axe, just flip that around. It is large defender, small assault. So honestly, depending on what you may or may not need, all the weapons are kind of serviceable. It's just that, again, crossover event, none of this final breaks. Optimally, you won't keep these, but you can use them for the time being. Now, I also have to point out that I usually would suggest not trading for the Dragonic Eye Shards because you usually need these green orb cores for other stuff. But because weekly advents has been added, you probably could trade for these and not get set back too much, especially since looking at the event missions, you get a lot more of these. Well, not necessarily a lot more because of the fact that no Ragnarok fight, but you do get some of these through missions, and it gives it easier access to them, I should say, not a lot more, because newer players wouldn't have been able to do Ragnarok fights anyway. Now all they got to do is just spam even beginner 5 times a day for like a week, and they've gotten all the event missions basically. But speaking of, you will get trade items every day if you just do 5 fights for the event. It doesn't even matter what difficulty. On top of that, doing a certain number of fights, of course, gets you the green orb cores I mentioned, but it's also the other 2 gacha tickets that have a rate up increase. So honestly, with how easy they made this crossover event, someone can just spam beginner, and you see how low all the stats are for the enemies and all that are in this. You can spam beginner and still possibly get enough stuff in order to trade for other things, because this is a month-long thing. Because you're literally getting all 4 trade items. So the main focus is easily those special tickets. You get up to 4 of them to trade for, but outside of that, it's mainly up to you. But I would suggest getting all the weapons anyways, because it's a month-long event, and even if you don't plan on keeping the weapons, using them a skill level farther is still pretty good, especially if you know how to optimize that. Now, going into the actual character that you're supposed to get from this event, if you happen to pull her, that is. I have to literally go to here because they didn't have a direct link to her page, so I'm going to just scroll down and actually look at it. But the thing with her, she's definitely good if you get her, but she's not quote-unquote meta. And here's the reason why. Now, she's got a mix of a few different things that other Kamihime have gotten. She can give everybody burst gauge, but it's only 10. but you'll also remove an orb from an enemy. And she needs to be level 75 for that one, so you will have to 4-star her to get that effect. Her third skill is guaranteed triple attack for the entire team, but it's only one turn, and it has a long cooldown, if you want to be honest. Now, for the first skill, those of you that have Susanoo O or somebody that's like that, she will randomly hit 6 times, and this is the main thing they try to focus on with her. She's going to start dealing quite a bit of ability damage thanks to this, because each time it does that, her web depth goes up, and the higher it is, the stronger her ability performance. Now, that web depth can also go up whenever she does a triple attack as well, so that's going to start stacking as the fight progresses. More so, when she does a burst, her first skill comes immediately off cooldown. So that means timed right, you can double cast it. So she's best used against a single target, but quite frankly, she's not bad. She really isn't. It's just there's still better than her out there, especially since we've now got a few more dark characters that are worth getting. But if you happen to get her, then you might have some use for her. It depends on how your team is. Now, as for her weapon, this is arcane. And again, Aratron has access to arcane weapons. And they aren't too bad either, since they give you Ascension. But this weapon is large assault, medium barrage, which barrage isn't exactly too great, but it is still better than rush, because you do want triple attacks more than double attacks. Again, depending on your grid, this may or may not get some use. So combine this with the event, and you have 5 weapon types that Dark had access to, either through events or going through the Dark Guardian. So it all depends on whether or not you want to go for this stuff. But keep in mind that not a single one of them is the most optimal thing to really go after. So you will eventually replace them with better stuff later down the line. So it's more of a case of if you need something now. That's all I have to basically say with that one. But anyways, that's all for this. More of this will probably come soon, because I probably will do a video of the event fight, or even when I sit up and try and pull for her, because I'm going to try and get her tickets first, and then I'm going to then I'm probably going to just do a pull video. But anyways, that's all for this. More of this will come soon, and I do have to point out, when I say pull video, I'm going to just use magic jewels, because I don't feel like adding any money to this. Because like I said, reasons before, even I'm starting to get a little bit sick of how the devs keep screwing up, so I'm even putting less money into the game. So there's that as well. But again, it all still depends on what happens. But more of this will come soon. You can easily expect more Genshin Impact videos, I have to say that much. Maybe more Magikami, I don't know. I am currently 643,000 power on that and still climbing. Especially since I just now got a UR Sarah dupe not too long ago, so she's gaining another 5 levels. But it really depends, because quite frankly, if I do stop playing Kamihime Project, that means my most reliable source of videos is pretty much getting shot down. So I'll just let people know on that one, but there's still other stuff I can do. I still have a PlayStation 4 as well. I'm not playing Genshin Impact off it, because it's way better on PC or mobile. But anyways, that's all for this. Again, more of this will probably come soon, because I honestly did want to get Deep Web Underground, or DWU. That's something you can't really pronounce fast. But I really did want to get her. I'm not going to miss the opportunity to try and get her though. But anyways, that's all for this. Again, and expect more videos of other stuff as well to pop up, because I'm probably going to need some fail safes at this point. Because, honest opinion, Kamihime Project is starting to die off. And that's something that players need to consider. No game is going to last forever, so I'm probably going to have to start looking for some backup stuff if I don't have any good sources of it anyways. But again, that's all for now, guys. Take care.